Okay, so group coaching today, we're going to start with wins as we always do. This is Mr. Dale Eads with his crew. He's a plumber up in Oklahoma City. When Dale first started with us, it was just him. He'd been running his business solo for, I think, close to like 10, 15 years. And decided, I'm going to grow this thing or what am I doing here? Like it's now or never, it's time. And so he joined on with Redmond Growth. In this, he had a great reputation. As you see here, he has 541 reviews. He is the highest rated and reviewed plumber in the Oklahoma City area. He's got a 4.9 rating, which is stellar when you have over 500 reviews to maintain that rating. Why I have him on here is because we're talking about merit-based pay today. And merit-based pay can come in many different forms. It's a way of incentivizing your team to do the activities and get the results that you're looking for. Dale is an excellent example of this because he has 541 reviews, and Dale did not get 541 reviews on his own. It wasn't just him, calling up his homeboys. He didn't pay a company to get it. He wasn't looking for a quick hack, or let me, I have these marketing companies calling me, let me pay them, to get reviews. I'm sure you guys have experienced those types of things. No, all of these reviews are legit. How he did it was by incentivizing his team in two different ways. One, he has a Google review competition almost every single month, where his guys compete against one another to see who can get the most reviews. And then whoever does gets a bonus. He also pays them for each review that they get. And so he's been intentional about tangibly showing them, if you get 5 reviews each week, this is what it's going to look like on your paycheck. This is the difference. You've been wanting a raise. Here's how you get it. Here's how you get that money. And then there's a bonus on top of that for whoever gets the most. And a little bit of competitive, competition in the workplace is not a negative thing. The second way that he got 541 reviews is because he knows that will run Google review email campaigns for you forever. We want to do it often. For Dale, we do this every couple months, and he pays his guys for each email they collect. One of the biggest things that my clients will tell me is, I have such a hard time getting my guys to collect emails. And so my email list is just real wimpy. I might have 20 or 30 or 50 on there, but not enough to get a ton of reviews. So Dale incentivizes his team. He pays them per email that they collect. And what that does is that allows me to run an email campaign every couple months and beef up his reviews. And so I know that's a longer win. I don't know anybody who's familiar with Oklahoma here other than us core Redmond Growth Group, but Oklahoma City is a pretty big area. And this is a guy who just a couple years ago was a one-man show, and now he's the highest rated, most reviewed in the Oklahoma City area with a 4.9 rating and over 500 reviews. So that is my long-winded win for the day. Does anybody have any wins that they would like to share? Yes, tell us.
So y'all know I'm new. I'm probably about a couple weeks, and Nicole has been helping me. We've been going real quick. All right, you need to do this as quick as we can, and it's been really good and really motivational and really holding me really accountable. And from that hard work, I got my Google local service ads finally up after all that pain and stuff, and I had my first lead come through on that the other day. I didn't take it. Don't get me wrong. I didn't have the time to get to it in the time that they needed it done, but I was happy about that.
Yes.
Google, yeah. So that was a win.
Yes. Well, thank you
for starting to get leads.
Yes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for being coachable and taking action, so that we can move quickly. Mm-hmm. Any other wins coming through here today? Going once, going twice. Okay.
Yes, I need to speak for, I need to speak for admittedly a shy person who's in the room right now. I met with him Monday, and he was like, hey, Harley, Can you share this win for me? Because we've been winning with our company, but I want you to talk about it. It's like, okay, fine. So the company is Andy's Painting over in Florida area. And when he came with us, I remember he was really stressing out about actually working with us because he was like, man, everything sounds good about working with you guys, but I have talked with other marketing companies before. I've been screwed over, and I just really want this to work. Like, Andy, I know it'll work. We have the testimonials back it up, and it just, he went for it. So it's been a couple months now, and we've done a lot of work together on helping to blaze a trail with his digital footprint, as well with some core sales systems. He says he really struggled on closing deals. Well, now with the one sheet and talking through about how to follow up and close people for tracking leads, he would typically range between 20,000 to 40,000 a month in revenues. And at the end of this month, he's on course to hit almost 60,000 in revenues.
Woo!
Dude,
Yeah.
come on. That's what I'm talking about.
So big props to Andy, who is persevering past a lot of, he's persevering through a lot, because where he's at in the country was real close to where Hurricane Ian went, yeah, feel proud of the guy and happy to work with him. So.
Yes, we
I
love
am
hearing
Andy, and I approve this message.
Hey, there he is. Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yes.
that. Okay, guys. Well, let's get this show on the road here. So what's going to happen today is we're going to be talking about merit-based pay. And then we're going to go into our breakout rooms where you're going to be with a coach and a couple other clients so that we can get really tangible, give you guys some clear action steps on how to move forward with merit-based pay. During that breakout room, it's also a good Q&A. It's a conversation. We want you to ask questions, feel supported. And if anybody ever leaves these group calls feeling like they didn't get their questions answered, please book a laser call with your coach. If your coach isn't available, that's why you have access to the other calendars as well. So just wanted to let you know that we are here to get you the answers you need. Okay, so merit-based pay. Let's talk about it. Merit-based pay can look here. I think I missed a slide. Let me go back. There we are. So merit-based pay is a way to incentivize your team to do the activities that you need them to do or to hit the goals you want them to hit. Who here has been a little bit frustrated? Like, I've asked my guys a million times to ask for Google reviews and they just won't do it. Anybody been in that situation before? Hands up, see hands, see head nods. Has anybody been in a situation where it's like, I keep telling my guys that the minimum requirement is, in theory, 5K a week that they need to be bringing in, and I just, for whatever reason, cannot get them to do it? Has anybody ever been in that situation where your guys are just not hitting their KPIs like they should, and no matter what you try, you can't get them to? Anybody been there? See some hands, some head nods.
Yep.
Okay, I would love to know an example outside of, if there are any other example. Andy, do you have an example of something you're trying to get your team to do that you're just struggling to get them to do?
Every day.
Every day.
It's just that sometimes people, I don't know, they're tired, or the job is a little complicated. There's some things, some areas that you just don't like to do. Sometimes
Right.
you don't like to pressure wash, or you don't like to work in the ceiling, or you don't like to work outside, and your quality it gets like down.
Yeah, quality goes down, or you have certain team members that are reluctant to do certain things, to do certain activities in the business. I know I'm working with a plumber right now where one of his guys, for the life of us, we cannot get him into a crawl space. And it's like, you're a plumber, buddy. what career, what, like maybe we didn't think this through too much, so I totally hear that. Roman, I saw you raised your hand. Do you have an example of something that you're just struggling to get your team to commit to? Or maybe you were just raising your hand like we do in church service when we're just, yes,
Preach,
yes,
Nicole.
I agree.
I'm with you. Yes.
So I love this quote here. An incentive is a bullet. It's a key, an often tiny object with astonishing power to change a situation. That's what an incentive is. Now, what we're going to talk about today is not just incentives that you can provide to your team, but also how to effectively use those incentives. If we don't clearly communicate, if we don't clearly track, your incentives aren't going to do much for you. And so let's break this down. We work with all different kinds of companies, and so merit-based pay is going to look different depending on the company. It's also going to look different depending on the position. So let's talk about a few different ways that merit-based pay can look. Google review bonuses. I'm not going to go long-winded on this because I just talked about it with Arnold's Plumbing. This is incentivizing your team, giving them bonuses based on the reviews that they get. It can also look like a bonus scale based on revenue that they bring in. A lot of times when people look at this, their initial reaction goes towards sales guys. They sell a job, they get a commission based on how much they sell that job for. But I don't want us to limit that to just sales guys. It can also work for technicians. With your technicians, for example, our Alicorp Plumbing up in Chesapeake Bay, Virginia, what he does is his minimum that each van needs to bring in is $5,000. If they hit 5,500, they get $100 bonus on top of their normal pay. If they hit $6,000, they get another $50. And so for every 500, and he doesn't put a limit on it because we don't want to limit our guys. If they have a kick-ass week and he brings in 10 grand, we want to pay you for that. We don't want you to think that there's a limit. We want to incentivize that. And so don't be limited to just thinking that you can do this with sales guys. You can do this with your technicians. You can do this with your project. Do this with your crew leads. It's essentially if your guy hits their KPIs, we're going to give them a bonus. It's a great way to incentivize them to hit those key performance indicators that you've set for them. Company competitions. Jonathan Rude, I think you have a client that does something with cornhole with company competitions. Could you explain what that is, what he does?
Absolutely. Can you hear? Am I muted? Sorry, I didn't.
Nope, you're good.
I'm not. Yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna call him out. Jeff, are you here? Okay. Well, if you are, interrupt me. But
yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You knew it was coming. Tell us about yeah. Yeah, that was something that I know that he was kind of a discovery process, but what I really liked with that is he's inspired to find a way to create an incentive, and better yet, create some kind of camaraderie, competition, and also contribute to the culture of the company. But how did that go here, Jeff? Or tell us about the cornhole competition. How did someone earn a bag?
Yeah, so for every review that you get a bag, and the last Friday of the month, however many bags you have, we get to throw and toss bags. And if they get so much money if it goes in the hole, so much if it's on the board, and so much if it's on the ground. And so it's not really about the money. I think it's just about the fun and competition.
Yeah. And I love hearing that, because I think you mentioned in a previous group call that your guys were practicing. You were catching them practicing, right. Which goes to show not only is this helping you get reviews, is it helping the company, but it is bringing the team together. And like I said earlier, it's okay to be a little competitive in the workplace, and so I love that. Thank you, Jeff. I didn't know you were on the call. I'm so glad you were. Thank you for sharing. We love that creativity. But that's company competitions. You can get creative like something like that. You can give them, have a bonus. You can also have a prize. You can have, I'll pay for you and your wife to go out to a fancy dinner. Here's $100 gift card to a steakhouse. You can make it fun for your team and have that camaraderie together. This can also look like percentage of money saved. I have clients very often who are like, yeah, I get how to incentivize my techs and my sales guys. That's easy. How do I incentivize my like project managers or my office managers even? Your project managers, part of their job is to make sure that jobs run on time and on budget. If they finish early or if they're able to save you money on the job without cutting corners, obviously we don't want quality to go down by this. But if they're able to save you money and then they can get a percentage of that money saved. I also have a client where part of their office manager's job, especially right now, I know a lot of you guys are talking about how hard it is to get materials and how material costs is so high. And so the office manager, part of their job is finding those materials and trying to find the best price. You can incentivize your office manager by giving them a percentage of the money they save the company based on that activity. Or if you have a bookkeeper or somebody who is, or if the office manager is helping you keep track of your income and expenses, if they're going through your credit card statements and they find some expenses we can get rid of, let's give them a percentage of the money that they've saved us from doing that activity. And so merit-based pay doesn't need to be this whole big thing where we change the entire structure of how you pay your team. It's these little things that are going to incentivize your team to do the activities that you need them to do to hit the goals you want them to hit. This is like the easiest way to do merit-based pay, or the most common, raises based on goals and KPIs hit. So I have a team, Prestige Printing. This is something that we're evaluating for them. They're a print shop, so they do embroidery, they do signs, stuff like that. Their team isn't often out selling. And so what we're doing currently is we're figuring out what KPIs do we want our team to hit. And it looks like a scorecard. Are they showing up on time? How much are they producing? How's their attitude been? Have they, been calling out a lot? We have a scorecard based on kind of the attitude and the performance that we want to see. And then we'll have a monthly or weekly review. And then based on that scorecard, they're going to get voted. Or we can let somebody know, if you want to raise, this is what I need. These are the numbers I need to see you produce. And if you produce that for X amount of time, we'll give you that raise you're looking for. And so this is the more traditional way to do merit-based pay. But again, it's making it very clear to your team, this is what I need to see from you, and this is what you're going to get when I see that happen. Anybody familiar with Charlie Munger? Anybody familiar? He's kind of a big deal. I see some hands. It seems like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to business and making money, considering he is a billionaire. But one quote he says is, "Show me the incentive and I will show you the outcome." And this is true in our everyday lives, is if your team, or if you don't understand what your activity is going to achieve, I'll tell you right now, if I didn't know that going to the gym was going to make me feel better and look better, I sure as hell would never step back on a treadmill for the rest of my life, or a cycle bike, or ever go on a run again. But I know what the outcome is going to be. I know how this is going to serve me. And so I'm incentivized to do it. If your team does not understand why you need them to hit those goals, why you need those Google reviews, if it is not clear and tangible, and if they don't understand why it's going to serve them, you're not going to get the outcome that you want. And so let's talk about that here. Common objections when I bring up merit-based pay. And coaches, if you guys have any objections, or even if clients, if I don't hit one that you have, feel free to call it out here. But common objections I hear the most. But the other companies don't do this. You know, the other companies, I've never worked for a company that does this. Or I worked for a company that was commissions only, and I freaking hated it because I was working with used car salesmen all the time. And we were selling things that people don't need. I don't like it. The other companies don't do this. That's great, because we aren't trying to be like the other companies. You went out and you decided to start your own company, obviously because you saw that you could do something different. You saw a need in the market and you knew that you could do things better. So if the other companies aren't doing this, then that to me is more proof that you should be doing it, because you're the outlier. You're the person who's doing things differently. And so don't let your team coming to you and say, well, the previous company I worked at didn't do this. Well, why aren't you still there? I wouldn't say that directly, but it's, you came here for a reason. And so don't let that stop you. I don't want greedy sales guys. I get this one a lot where I used to work for Mr. Rooter, and they just, you know, they were pushing me to sell things that people don't need. Like they didn't care about us serving the customers. They just wanted to see high tickets. I promise you that's not the culture that you are breeding. It's all about the culture that you're creating with your guys. And so unless you are communicating that, I promise you that's not what your guys are doing. And if you're keeping track of your guys' revenues, if you're keeping track of their jobs, you're going to be able to see that pretty quickly if that does happen. But I would say in my 4 years at Redmond Growth and implementing merit-based pay with customers, I've never ran into that situation. And so I want to kind of put that to rest. That's not going to be what happens. That's not the culture that you're building. That's not the team that you have. You don't have a bunch of greedy sales guys.
And if that's your objection, what I'll add is simply because you have that objection, right? You can trust that you're going to make sure that that culture doesn't breed and go any further than it should. Like that's an indication that that won't happen. It's because you're mindful of it.
100%, 100%. And this is one that I get a lot too. I've tried this. My guys, they just don't care. They don't care. They're not motivated by money. They just don't care. I've tried this. And that's why we're going to break down how to do this effectively. But I will go to say that if you've tried this and you have certain members of your team that are still not hitting the mark, and you have other members of your team that are, that person might not be the best fit for your team. Because if other guys can hit it, they're very capable well, unless we haven't equipped them with the proper tools. You know, it is your job as a business owner to make sure that they are fully equipped with the tools that they need to be able to perform like your well-performing guys. And so we want to evaluate that first. Have I clearly communicated my expectations, and have I given them the tools they need to succeed? And if you've done those two things and they're still not performing, if they're still not incentivized, it might be time for us to consider replacing them. You know, you've done everything in your power. They're probably bringing down the culture in your with your team anyways. And so,
Excuse me,
yes,
can I say something?
yes.
I love the subject, but I just would like to add something. Is you as a company owner, I think you have to believe that this is going to work, because sometimes people do these things because they have to, like the business owner. Okay, I'm going to put an incentive there, or follow these steps. But if you don't believe it yourself, it's just not going to work. People feel that. You feel that.
Absolutely.
I know, like Harley was saying, I was like, I don't know, I didn't want to do this because I went through a lot. I lost a lot of money trying to help my business grow. But when I spoke to Harley, I don't know, somehow he made me feel calm and confident that this is going to work. And,
Yes.
and that was very good. for me.
Yes, I love that, because that's what we're going into next, Andy, is when you're communicating this with your team, you are selling your confidence that they can hit that goal, your confidence of what it could do to their income, your confidence for what it could do for the company. And so if you don't believe in it, if you don't think it's going to work, if you go in with that mindset, it's not going to. You got to believe whatever it is that you're selling. And so I love that reminder. Which brings us into, how do I present this change to the team? Which is one of the most common objections I hear. It's so common that I made a whole slide about it. Nicole, my team's going to hate this. Well, if your team doesn't like to be incentivized by doing good work, that makes me question our team a little bit.
Ooh.
Because A players are going to be excited about the opportunity to get rewarded for the high quality work that they are doing. Arnold's Plumbing is another good example of this. Is they have a member of their team right now that's just having a little bit of a rough time. And he has such a high, a team of A players that he's not even having to go confront this team member about it, because his team is saying, hey, dude, you know, we're all out here, we're performing, and it seems like right now you're not able to keep up, and it's kind of bringing us down. It's a culture of high accountability. And so if your team is not excited about the opportunity to make more money based on the quality of work that they're doing in their performance, then it makes me question our team. And so how do I present this effectively? I love the hug, kick, hug method. We talk about this a lot, because anytime you're breaking news to anybody, hug, kick, hug. This is a great thing in your personal life as well. You can ask any of my team members here. I'm not great at sugarcoating. I'm a pretty direct communicator. Hug, kick, hug is a much more effective way to communicate your message well, and for it to be well received. So, hey guys, we're doing a phenomenal job. You guys are showing up on time. You guys look presentable. You guys are knocking out your work. We're doing a phenomenal job. What we could be doing better is I really need to make sure we're doing home safety inspections on every single job, because right now our average ticket is around $300, and we really need it to be around that $500 mark. If we can do that, that's going to put you guys at your $5,000 per week, and it's going to be giving you guys a $150 bonus. Now, again, you guys are showing up on time. You're doing high quality work. Our customers love you. We just need to make sure that we're doing home safety inspections so that our ticket prices are up and I can pay you guys more. And so we sandwich the bad news or the correction within the good news. That's going to allow them to be so defeated. It makes them feel, oh, I'm doing good. I just need to work on blank. We also need to make sure we're selling that vision. That's exactly what Andy said. Your confidence is going to be the main thing that's going to communicate this effectively. And so we have to sit down and say, okay, this is what this change is going to do for your income. This is what it's going to do for the company. This is what it's going to allow me to do. RC Plumbing up in Stockton, California, he really wants to be able to offer insurance for his guys. He wants to do it. And so one thing that he's communicating to them is, hey guys, if we hit this revenue goal, I'm immediately going to be able to add insurance for you guys. The numbers make sense. It works, you know, and I want that for you guys. And so if we're able to do this, this is how it's going to affect you. You know, if you're able to hit that $5,000 a week, this is the difference to your income. You know, if you're consistently hitting these bonuses, this is how much more you're making per month, per year. And so we got to sell that vision. You can't just say, we need to get more Google reviews so that we can get more leads, because they don't give a rip. They're going to make money no matter what, how many leads are coming in the company. They don't care about that. What they do care about is if you're getting 5 Google reviews a week, that's extra $200 on your paycheck for that pay period. That makes it more tangible. And this is what it equals per month and per year. And so we got to sell that vision. And then this can get very easily ignored. And so I want to over communicate that we have to clearly communicate the process. If you just tell your guys, hey, I'm going to bonus you based on your KPIs, they're going to be like, yeah. If you're going to say, hey, I'm going to give you bonuses based on your Google reviews, so go get Google reviews, they're not going to do it. They need to have faith in your process. They need to have faith in your ability to execute this well. And so that needs to look like, okay, this is the book title. This is the broad thing that we're doing, that we're changing. This is the bonus structure. Here's how we're going to track it. Here's how we're going to review it. And here's when you're going to get that bonus. We have to make sure that we have it tangible, written down. This is the structure. This is how it works. This is how we're tracking. This is how we're reviewing it. If you don't make it a tangible process, it will sound vague. It won't be as well believed. And then it's also a way for your team to hold you accountable and for you to hold them accountable. And so if we don't clearly communicate the process, your chances of this going over well is going to be pretty limited. So I know I just covered a lot of information. That's why we're about to break up into breakout rooms so that we can get really clear and tangible with it and get you guys some good actions. And so Bryce is going to break us up here.